Hello viewers, I'm Shahenaz Shaikh, clinical nutritionist and registered dietitian at INAMDAR Multispeciality Hospital. Friends, the month of September is the National Nutrition Month. So today we have joined here to raise awareness regarding nutrition in early phases of life like infancy, childhood and adolescence. So we have with us Dr. Yogini Chidgopkar. She is a pediatrician in Inamda Hospital and having more than 20 years of experience in this field. Welcome, Dr. Yogini. Dr. Yogini, when we are thinking about nutrition in childhood or adolescence or infancy, we are using a very appropriate phrase that feeding smart right from start. So, what is this means start?
Yes, Shanas. This is very important. So this year's World Nutrition Month's tagline itself is feeding smart from start. So where does this start begin basically? So as we all know, the tall buildings are built on a very strong foundations only. So we need to have a better start, a stronger start, a healthier start to lay down the foundation of the adulthood later on. So basically, where to start? By and large, we may speak that infancy can be a start, but going beyond that, healthy nutrition in pregnancy, and still beyond that can be a healthy development of an adolescence and nutrition in adolescence, which will bring them up into healthy adults and future healthy pregnancies and next healthy progenies. So that is what is meant by start. So building the earlier progeny is healthier to bring the next progenies more healthier.
Very true. So you mean to say, Dr. Yogini, for the fulfillment of the nutritional requirement, we have to start from the first 1,000 days and must be continued up to the adolescent life. Dr. Yogini, you said that adolescents require specific attention towards their diet. So, what do you mean say about it?
Yes, Shahnaz. Adolescent per se is a different group of people. They are neither children, they are neither adults. So basically, this is a transition from a childhood to the adulthood. So during this phase, kids go through a lot of physical changes as well as a psychological turmoil too. So there are changes in the eating habits and eating behavior too. So they have a lot of autonomicity developing at this stage. So they become very fussy and picky eaters. They have more inclination towards the junk food. So as we said, the foundation of next progeny begins from this adolescence. So we need to focus on the adolescence diet very keenly, and we need to work upon them very nicely. So this is the basically second growth spurt of the life. So the weight and the height goes on increasing exponentially. So they need to be supplemented with the right type of diet with good amount of proteins, carbohydrates, fibers, rough veggies, and the micronutrients too. To be very specific, in the micronutrients, iron and calcium becomes the important role in the. They play important role in the growth. So they need to be supplemented from outside. The iron and calcium in the second growth spurt, that is the adolescence.
Right, in adolescence, we have to more focus on their diet in the form of a quality and the quantity also. In the form of a quality, that we have to provide them good quality of protein, high biological value proteins, complex carbs, and that healthy fats also, and micronutrients like calcium, iron, selenium, copper, zinc. And with that, we have to provide them sufficient amount of food to fulfill their requirement. Dr. Yogini, you said about the growth spurt. So please let us know about more about the growth spurt.
Yes, Shahnaz. This is very important. Basically, growth spurt is a period of life in which the body expands exponentially. The height as well as the weight grows in multiple folds. So there are two important growth spurt in a human's life. First and foremost is being infancy, and the second growth spurt, as we said earlier also, it is in the adolescence age. So basically, because of the high rate of growth, we need to be very, very keen upon what diet they are eating, and we should be very meticulous upon giving them the right type of nutrition during those growth spurts.
Right. True. Growth spurt is the phase where the physiological, psychological, and emotional and even the behavioral changes are there. So, as a doctor, as a dietitian, or as a parent, we have to understand them and we have to support them. Dr. Yogini, you said that first growth spurt is in infancy. So, for this support to this first growth spurt, we have to more focused about the breastfeeding. So, let us know more about the breastfeeding and what's the importance of breastfeeding in infancy.
Yes, rightly said. The first and foremost growth spurt is in infancy, which can be by and large divided into two phases, like first 6 months and the later 6 months. So infancy is basically first year of life. So in the former phase of infancy, that is first 6 months, the kids are to be only exclusively breastfed. So exclusively breastfeeding means nothing other than breast milk is to be given to the babies. So breast milk will suffice the hunger as well as the thirst of the baby. So breast milk actually is a wonder fluid. That is the only living fluid in the whole world, whole universe. Because the composition of the breast milk changes as per the demands of the baby. A preterm baby will have a different kind of a milk. The term mother will produce a different kind of a milk, and the same mother will produce a different kind of a milk when the baby becomes 6 months. Not only the duration in the longer duration, but in the daytime and the night time there are different compositions of the breast milk. In the nighttime secretions there is more of melatonin secreted, which will induce good and healthy sleep in the infants. So the importance of breastfeeding can never be overlooked at any stage. So basically, baby, mother, and by virtue of that, the whole society will get the benefit of breastfeeding. So, what are the benefits that we offer to the baby by breastfeeding? Are first and foremost is it is the right type of nutrition, and so it will obviously support the growth of the infant. Along with this, there are other multiple benefits like it's as I already said, it's a living fluid. It has an immunity or immunoglobulin is what we call, and that is how the immunity of the baby is also built. It has been now well known that the babies who are breastfed will be having more IQs than the babies who are non-breastfed. So you are giving rise to a progeny which is much more intelligent. Along with this, there is obviously a greater psychological bonding with the mother, and these kids are more secure psychologically when they are breastfeeding. These are the benefits to the baby. What are the benefits to the mother? Obviously, this is the very less cumbersome and easy way to breastfeed. So, you don't have to buy so many bottles, you don't have to rinse and wash them frequently, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night and prepare the milks for a crying baby. It is as easy as that, very natural way of feeding. Besides this, this is a very low cost, even though as I said, it is like comparable to the Amrit, what they say, on the earth. But still, it comes at a very, very low cost. You don't have to spend money like you have to spend for the formulas. So, this is also a low cost option. And along with this, this also protects the mother from future pregnancies and certain cancers, gynecological cancers. And by virtue of this, this breastfeeding, we give rise to a healthier progeny, by and large, giving rise to a healthier India. And that is how the whole society is benefited by the breastfeeding.
100% agree, Dr. Yogini. There is nothing better than the mother's milk. As you said, it's a very important that it's a very hygienic things. Means there's a very less chances or the zero chances of getting the infection from this milk as compared to the other milk, supplementary form or the formula milk. Whatever we are experiencing the money on that, but we are not getting that much protection from the infections that mother's milk is giving. And here one more question I want to ask you, because we are emphasizing more on the mother's milk. Mothers has to feed to the baby, and the baby is getting more protection, immunity, all those things are there. But let me know that mother is getting only 6 months of maternity leave. So how can she manage that mother's feeding and the complementary feeding, both the things? So please guide us about this.
Yes, Shahnaz, this is a very important question. First and foremost, we welcome the policy of 6 months maternity leave to all the mothers. And but what is to be done beyond 6 months? So definitely, this is the time when the complementary feeding has to be started. But you cannot overlook the benefits of the breastfeeding at and besides 6 months also. So mother has to continue breastfeeding. Ideally, she has to continue breastfeeding till 2 years. So how do we do that? So basically, there is something called as expression of milk. She can do home expression of the milk, like before going off to the office or to the job. She can express the milk. Even in the office, she can express the milk, and she can give it to the baby in a sterile containers. So basically, when expressed, the milk can be stored at room temperature for around 4 to 6 hours. And if we keep it in the fridge, we can store it as long as 24 hours. So there are a lot of benefits which are offered by this breast milk. So we encourage the mothers to give express breast milk even if they rejoin their jobs.
This is the most important guidance by Dr. Yogini regarding the mothers who are the working mothers.
Also, I would like to mention here there are various types of breast pumps which are available in the market. The electrical one, the manual ones. One can take full advantage of it and express the milk at in the easier ways.
So the mothers have to manage it for if they want the optimum nutrition for their infants or the optimum health or the benefit. They have to manage it with the breastfeeding as well as the complementary feeding. So let us know about more the what are the trusted techniques for the complementary feeding.
Yes, Shahnaz. This step becomes utmost important in the growth and development because breastfeeding, most of the mothers, I hope they are doing. When it comes to complementary feeding, nowadays the mothers are, most of the time they are frustrated like my baby is not eating, my baby doesn't like this, my baby doesn't like that. So this is all what is happening. So basically, complementary feeding has to be laid down. Healthy foundation has to be laid down with a strong and right type of complementary feeding. So how do we do that? Basically, we'll start from when do we do that. So 6 month is a period when we start the complementary feeding. Why specifically at 6 months? Is basically baby's intestines and kidneys and even the brain is prepared for the complementary feeding, that is food other than the breast milk. So baby is able to sit with some kind of a support which gives us a easy position to feed the baby. So 6 month is the best period when we can start the complementary feeding. And what to give? Basically, complementary feeding is equal to Cerelac. That is what most of the mothers have made the equation in their mind. But Cerelac can be used only when there is no other option available. There are much more healthier recipes which we can make at home and which we can give to our kids. So like dal rice kanji, khichdis, ragi, vegetable soups, even chicken soups, sprout soups. Egg yellow can also be offered to the babies. Banana, apple, and potato, they will provide us complex carbohydrates which are very easy to digest. So this can be just the initial food. Then what should be the consistency of the complementary food? This is also a very important topic because depending upon the consistency, there will be the density of the calories and proteins. So initially it should be semi liquid, which will again then transform over a period of 2 to 3 months into semi solids. So up to 8 month pureed food should be given. After 8 months, the food should be mashed and given. Here I'd like to mention that the grinded food is something which should not be used as a routine basis, because the children will not develop the habit of chewing and the dentition will be delayed. Even there will be crowding of the dentition. So mashed food is to be recommended after 8 months, and after 12 months baby can very well have bites and the content food. So because this is an oral phase of development, because of the granularity or the food texture, that will also help in the stimulation and development of the child. Then after consistency, we also need to know how to give the complementary feeding. As the babies are able to sit by this time, they should be most probably fed in the sitting position. Feeding in the lying down position is not recommended at all. Then how to feed? By and large, from 6 to 8 months generally, 2 breastfeeding followed by 1 complementary feeding is to be done. After 8 months, like 8 to around 12 months, one breastfeeding and 1 complementary feeding, like that alternate this thing we can do. And after 1 year, ideally 2 complementary feeds and then 1 breastfeeding. After 18 months, only nighttime feeding is recommended, and that is what has to be done. Mind you, the whole family has to be involved in this complementary feeding, because this complementary feeding itself it's not a momentarily act. It lays down a foundation of the future healthy nutrition in the baby, future healthy habits in the baby. So the whole family should be involved in this complementary feeding. Generally, it should be associated with some songs or stories or some plays like that, so as to make it more comfortable and enjoyable to the baby and not as a punishment.
So, you mean to say, Dr. Yogini, that we have to include the 5 food groups in complementary feeding. It is not just like only flour thing or the only veggies things. We have to include the cereal, then the protein sources, then the vegetables, and even milk and the milk products. And second thing is that you want to say ki, parents are the role model. How they are taking food means what are the ingredients they are consuming. They start to give to their babies or the infants initially from the complementary feeding. Then they will be inculcating the good dietary habits for future. Okay, then Dr. Yogini, say something about smart feeding.
Yes, this is, I think, much more important nowadays. So, the first step of smart feeding is a balanced diet. What do you actually mean by the balanced diet? So, balanced diet is a diet which will support the growth of the individual, which has to have good around 50 to 60% of carbohydrates, 20 to 30% of proteins, 10% of fat, along with that good amount of water, roughage, and micronutrients. This all, when added together, becomes a balanced diet. So we have to plan our diet accordingly. So nowadays there is very much inclination towards like giving a ready-made food or giving junk food to the babies. And babies are very happily eating chocolates day in and day out. Parents are very happy to give the chocolates to the baby. So basically, chocolate also comes under the junk food only. What is junk food? Basically, is the food which has very high amount of calories and less amount of nutrition, which will fulfill the stomach capacity and which will hamper the next feed. So junk food are not to be recommended in the initial phases. Most of the as far as possible, the homemade food is to be given. Kids have like certain likings and disliking at the initial stages also, but we can offer the same looking food to the baby with replacing the unhealthier ingredient with a healthier ingredient. Like we can replace the maida with atta, and we can replace potato with some the sprouts or something like that. So this is how we can make the same junk food into the healthier food. Then less salt and less sugar is to be given. I would say here ki, if you don't, even if you don't introduce sugar to the baby for the first year of life, that is also okay. Then after that, most important thing after that is coming, that is mobile feeding. So the next generation which is coming is basically our mobile feeders. Even the 6 months, 7 months babies are looking at the mobile screen and their whole attention is in the mobile, and the parents are feeding them mechanically. So they are not able to understand the taste, they are not able to understand the texture of the food, they are not able to understand the whole process of the ingestion and the digestion. So this is what has to be strictly abandoned, and it should not be done at all. Mobile feeding is something in which you are giving them even if you are giving them a high quality diet, you are not giving them that atmosphere to eat. So feeding process should be a healthy process. As I already said, the whole family should be involved, and this can be converted into a story time or a song time or a role play time, so that this time becomes more pleasurable to the baby. Eating with a mobile is as good as you are eating like empty calories. Then after phone, we have to teach them to respect the food. So basically, we have to tell them the stories about how a grain is converted into a chapati, and that is coming in your platter for little older kids, so that they start respecting the food, and they start having the food with the respect. And the family feeding is something which is very important here. Like the it is very well said that the family that eats together stays together. So at least one meal the whole family should have together in a day, and they should enjoy together the food. They should praise the food together, and the healthy diets in the parents are also important, like so as to transfer them to the next progeny. Avoid sodas and cocas and colas. So this is what I can say is the smart feeding.
Right. So we have to introduce a variety of food, variety of healthy food to our children as per their requirement, as per their age. Then they might not become the choosy, fussy, or the picky eaters, right?
Right.
So, anything you want to share to our viewers?
Yes, first and I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and speak on this platform. So the take-home message is start early and start smart, so as your kids also become smart.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yogini, for sharing this wonderful information with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.